What's good, y'all? What's the numbers TV Sports? Your boy PoRo back. My co-host Batty Bells, man. We in the building. So, we're gonna stick to some boxing content today. A lot of the videos that we dropped on boxing, some of them got a good reaction. Dating back from when we first started the channel. So, I want to stick to some boxing talk. Got some new topic to touch on. Mm-hmm. Last video, we spoke about Edgar Berlanga. That's how true it is. We talk about Edgar Berlanga leaving Top Rank, right?
Yeah.
Since then, he done an interview.
He done an interview since then?
Yeah, he said the reason he left is because he was trying to make, he didn't see them trying to make the fights. He was trying to bring him along how he wanted to be. He wanted bigger fights. He mentioned John Ryder, and they was trying to give him guys that he felt weren't on that level. He wanted that level or bigger. Now, he never mentioned some of the dudes that they offered him. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say because they might have offered him a tough young guy or somebody, like I said, a live guy. He probably didn't want to go in there with them. He might have felt he had a better opportunity to beat Ryder. You understand?
Yeah.
Also, since then, Berlanga's met with Golden Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Hearn also said he thinks a fight with Canelo. Canelo's on the zone.
Yeah.
And Berlanga will be a huge fight, although he hasn't had a conversation. So right now he's just talking.
He hasn't had a conversation with Canelo because Canelo would be the one to want to accept that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think Berlanga would be all in for that.
But he hasn't even had a conversation with Berlanga, so he could just be capping at this point. Yeah. But all I take it, everything I just said right there, right? Mm-hmm. How you feel about the reason Berlanga said he left? You feel like it's cap, or you feel like it got some truth to it?
I think it's cap, bro. Honestly.
What do you think was what do you think was more like the realistic how it played out? What do you think it was the reason? And
I think that like Bob and them know, like for them to mutually, because like if he know you were worth some value, he ain't gonna let you go.
Yeah, I think he was still under contract too.
Yeah. So Bob know if you worth some value, he's not gonna let you go. He ain't into losing money. If that was the case, he would let Terrence go. You know what I'm saying? After Terrence said all the bad things about him in public. So I just think he knew it wasn't lucrative. He probably might have lost money on the fights that he had with Berlanga because they weren't pay-per-view, they were ESPN, and like I said, he was in the theater in the Garden, not the big venue. The theater doesn't really hold as many.
With those fights, you got the check from the company, the cable company.
That would be ESPN money.
Yeah, that'd be where the bag was coming from.
Yeah, but it's not like they probably looked at the ratings afterwards. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the rating projections would be we're going to the interest if they could push him over the pay-per-view. Like I think after at the beginning when he was knocking out, but then as he came up and rose in competition, and I guess people were complaining, not complaining, but fans were saying he didn't really show no boxing. He was just looking for and then when he tried that, then he was getting, tagged up. So, I think he needed a lot more work. And then, and I think the fights that like he said, he didn't disclose. He said the opponent that he wanted to fight, but he didn't disclose the opponents, the top rank, like you said, the top rank proposed to him.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it could have been because he was coming up in stiffer competition, and the last few fights that he had weren't that impressive as with the first few that he had on ESPN when he was laying people out and shit. You know what I'm saying?
And then what I would say is that he's not at the level where he can just basically have his own promotion. I mean, he could start it, but it wouldn't be. He needs to get a little bigger, right? So at this point, he still needs a promoter. He needs to sign somewhere to get these fights, right? Yeah. So where do you see him at a home? I can't say Lou DiBella because Lou goes to Bob. So Lou is a New York-based promoter though. So that's what people would think that, but he goes to Bob. So I don't see that route happening. So where do you see him ending up? Well, Golden Boy had a meeting with him. Do you see something like that, like a Golden Boy being a home?
Golden Boy, maybe that the zone, maybe like this Eddie Hearn thing could have some legs to it. It's like a Canelo fight would be enticing, and that might be the biggest payday he can possibly get.
But how does he go from barely beating, the last Steve, and then going to a Canelo fight? Like it's basically like their sacrificial lamb at this point, right? Having the Puerto Rican versus Mexican.
There's a tune-up involved though. Maybe
the Mexican versus the Puerto Rican fan base, which always been a big seller. You understand? And even though we know Canelo is way above, at least as a fighter, than Berlanga, but it's like, where do we go? That's like another one of those fights, though, right? It's big because of the two different countries, this and the third, right? But let's look at it from a boxing standpoint, Batty.
Yeah.
Canelo is a way better boxer, just boxer, right? Floyd 12-0'd him, but he learned from that, and he's slick. He's a slick boxer now, right? Yeah. Berlanga,
Dibble kind of 12-0'd him too.
Yeah, exactly. So he hasn't, but he fought multiple fighters though. He fought a bunch of people on Canelo, right? He doesn't really duck too many people. Now, Berlanga fought nobody of really any type of prestige. So to put him in there with Canelo, hey, listen, Canelo never been stopped, never been hurt really, right? So Berlanga's only chance of winning is a knockout because he's not gonna outbox Canelo. So now we going into the fight. Are we really, as fans, are we really supposed to think Edgar Berlanga has a chance against Canelo Alvarez in 2023? Really, like if that fight gets made, are we supposed to trick ourselves into believing that?
No, but Fat Joe and them is.
He got a puncher's chance, of course, but how much of a punch does he got? He couldn't even knock the last guy out who's been stopped before.
But he ain't been focusing on his power. He's been trying to focus on technique, and that ain't been working for him.
That ain't gonna work against Canelo.
Nah, it's not.
Now this guy might not get made. We're just saying what's out there. You know,
if that was then I see, yeah.
And I don't want us to come up as like, well, I'm talking for myself as a Berlanga hater or as a naysayer, but we gotta call a spade a spade. Sir, now shout out to him for getting in the ring. You know,
how old is Berlanga?
Berlanga's like 20-something years, 24, I want to say.
How old is Canelo?
Canelo's about 30, son. 32.
And when Canelo fought Floyd, he was like what, 20? 21?
You know? So I don't want to look at like, you know, I'm just hating on Berlanga. Like I would love to see him perform and win and be great, but let's not say like you left Top Rank because they was bringing you along too slowly. Bro, you didn't really show. You say you haven't showed us too much. You even got a belt, right? Like
he gotta do a lot. Like versus Canelo, bro. Like he would have to do it.
That's just a payday, right? He get paid.
He gonna get paid. He gonna get paid.
They're gonna sell out wherever y'all go. They're gonna sell out. But
like I'm just thinking, like you going from ESPN regular, not pay-per-view, to like the Zone pay-per-view. I mean, even though it's the Zone. But that's going to be a big fight, bro.
We both got Canelo on our pound-for-pound top 5. Yeah, so you're going from ESPN to top fight in a pound-for-pound top 5 in our book. You understand? So
yeah, that's just crazy stuff. But Eddie Hearn look at it like, I mean, it's a good payday. And the thing about it is Eddie Hearn knows Canelo's going to wash him.
Yeah, it's not going to be in the red. It's going to be in the black. They're going to make money on that fight.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn knows Canelo's going to wash him.
I see Canelo James Kirkland all over again. Remember that fight when he knocked James Kirkland out with the hook? Yeah. That's what I see with Canelo and Berlanga. But, you know, shout out to both those fighters. Get paid.